So let's first start with your sister and what she's been going through and that. Like, how's life in that?
Real quick, the picture's good for you?
What?
Do I look good for you? Picture's
Yeah,
good?
you do. Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool. All right, no, first off, thank you for having me. Good luck on your podcast. I think it was great that you had Chris Childs on. Funny story before I answer the question about my sister. Chris Childs, obviously one of my favorite players growing up. And one of the first interviews Chris Childs did in about 14 years was actually with me back in 2015. He wasn't doing many interviews. Yeah. My friend David Uncuey, my friend Ivory Manning used to train Chris Childs. And I called Ivory. I was like, yo, you think Chris Childs would do an interview? And he called him. And then all of a sudden I got a phone call from a random number in November, December 2015. And it was Chris Childs. And he said, hey, Ivory gave me your number. I'd like to do your show. And it was like his first public comments in like 15 years since he started about the Kobe fight. And my interview with Chris Childs literally was on every sports and hip hop website. It was crazy.
Wow. Well, he probably was. Yeah, you had to come out and talk about that, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So great job on talking to Chris Childs. Really proud of you. As far as my sister, for people that have been following the journey, it's been almost 10 months since she had her stroke. And of course, 10 days after she had her stroke, we found out she had a brain cancer that was inoperable. And, we did some chemo. Right now, they've stopped the chemo because it's just not helping anymore. And the cancer spread, down her back. Right now, it's just about keeping her comfortable. We're hopefully going to get her home. Her birthday is next Sunday. She's going to be 21.
Wow.
She's. I know you've met her, of course.
Oh yeah.
You and your mom know her, and she is the strongest human being in the world. Like, we give credit to these athletes because they played through a sprained ankle, and they probably do things that you and I can't do. But this is toughness.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
When you're told at 20 years old you have 9 months to live, and you still say, fuck it, I'm going to beat this and live every day better than most. That's tough. Playing with a sprained ankle, I'll give you credit for that. But what my sister's doing, that's tough. And she has a will to live. And, I don't know how long the will can last, but, it's working right now, and she's very positive. She can't walk, but every day she's happy. Every day, it really is. Every day is a gift. Not just every day, every minute. Every minute we're on this earth, we're with our loved ones, we care about, it's a gift. Just always remember that.
She's amazing. And also, Anthony has a fund about you can go fund him on his sister's fight through brain cancer and all of this and stuff like that.
Yep, yeah. Just go to my Instagram page, Twitter page. The link is right there in the front. If any donations are truly appreciated.
Yeah. So let's get into the Knicks and that. What are your thoughts on the Tibbs hiring? Like, I'm very happy about it. Like all across the board, he's proven he knows how to develop young players. He is great on like both sides of the floor, 3 and D.
Yep.
He got that Minnesota team like relevant for the first time in years in that when he went there and that.
Yeah, he did. So listen, I love Tom Thibodeau. I'm 36 years old, so I'm a guy who grew up in the 90s. I remember when Tibbs was on the bench. I've talked to Larry Johnson. Like, if you for those that don't know, Larry Johnson with the Hornets was a high flyer, a guy who dunked all the time, kind of like Amari Stoudemire in his prime. And when he got to the Knicks, his back was a little banged up, and Tom Thibodeau worked with Larry a lot. So if you ask Larry Johnson about Tom Thibodeau, he loves him. Guys love him. Jimmy Butler loves him. Todd Gibson loves him. I wanted the Knicks to hire Tom Thibodeau back in 2008. I wanted them to hire him every time he was available. So I'm very excited. But at the same time, I've been around the block now, Luke. I've seen the Knicks hire general managers, coaches, where we thought this was the move, and nothing works. That said, I'm extremely excited about Tom Thibodeau. I can't wait to hear him barking on the sidelines. But it's it's all about you gotta get the players. And the one thing that gets me excited is that I think, and I could be to play for Tibbs, you got to be a different breed. You can't be a cupcake. You can't
be like Kevin Knox.
Right. So I worry for Kevin Knox because sometimes I feel, and I'll give him a chance, but sometimes I feel Kevin Knox is soft as a soft ice cream. But I think Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett are Tom Thibodeau guys.
And Frank. Frank is.
Frank Ntilikina as well. I think those guys could be Tom Thibodeau guys. At the end of the day, it's all about the players and getting them to play, putting in a system, sticking to it, and not changing the course just because you lose a few games in a row. So, if you start off slow, you can't be chanting to fire this guy. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be like Greg Popovich and come here today and be here 20 years from now. But at some point, a coach we hire needs to stay for more than 2 years. Now, of course, even now in the league more than ever in all professional sports, teams change players a lot more than ever. But to win in this league, you need to have great players, continuity, and stability. One thing the Knicks have not had in 20 years is stability. The roster, Carmelo Anthony played with like 800 different players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need to have some stability. And that's with coaching, that's with the front office, that's with the players. If you do that, you start to build something, hopefully we can get this thing back on track. Because, man, it's been a long time since the Knicks have really mattered in this town.
Agreed. Here's the thing. You know why I have tons of hope for Tibbs is because when you really look at it in hindsight, like you look at Phil Jackson when he came in, he didn't have experience as a general manager.
None.
The only time you can really point to that is the Larry Brown hiring back in the day in that.
Yeah, I still can't believe that went wrong. That was a disaster. That was a complete disaster.
But hey, hopefully it is not like the Isaiah Thomas era at all. Hopefully,
no.
Definitely
the
not.
Larry Brown era, I was around that team all the time. I was working for ESPN Radio. I was 21 years old, producing the pre- and post-game shows with Brandon Tierney. So I was around that team all the time. I still got relationships with Quentin Richardson, David Lee, Nate Robinson, Jamal Crawford. I had Trevor Ariza on my show back in the day, Jamal Crawford as well. So back when I was like 21 years old. So like that team, they were horrible, but that team was very special to me because I built relationships with most of that entire team.
Yeah, that was like your first experience. And talking about that, like you mentioned it in a couple of other shows, like Stephon Marbury and stuff like that. What do you think went wrong during that time?
Everything, but as a player, I love Steph, and I felt the trade for Steph was horrible because they gave themselves no flexibility, but the roster around Steph was horrible. And the pressure that was on Steph was immense. It was immense.
Yeah.
So I don't think the team losing really. Steph balled out. Steph was averaging 20 and 8. But when you got Eddie Curry out of shape. You got, Q is my guy. You got Q with a bad back. You got Eddie Curry out of shape. You got, everything, coaches not working. Just not, and Allen, one thing that was supposed to happen was when the Knicks traded for Steph, he was supposed to play with Allen Houston. And Allen Houston's knee went out. So those guys never really played together. So a lot of things went wrong in the Stephon Marbury era that all weren't Steph's fault. He was the best player. He was, he had a mouth on him. So he was the lightning rod, of course. Do I think it was all his fault? Absolutely not. No way.
It's not. It's not at all. But I wouldn't say that the team was trash because they had some players out there like Jamal Crawford, David Lee.
But here's the thing, though. It's all about your role. Okay, so Jamal Crawford is a great sixth man. The Knicks try to make Jamal Crawford almost the focal point of the offense and have him start. That's the wrong role for Jamal Crawford. They try. Sometimes it's all about putting the pieces in the right place. The Knicks had some of the right pieces. They just didn't put those pieces in the correct place.
Agreed. They just it's kind of like this year's roster, what they did with Julius and all these vets with the young guys.
Terrible. Terrible. This year was terrible.
It
Julius
was a
Randle spin
disaster.
moves. Oh my God. And listen, I think he's a nice guy, but I think David Fizdale is a horrible coach. I
Yeah,
think he's a good
that
he's a
was
good assistant. I think he's like the sexy assistant. He's the guy in the back of the plane hanging out with he's the guy in the back of the plane hanging out with the players. All the players love him with the hot wife. But I don't know if he's built to be a head coach. He was out in Memphis in a year and a half. So I think he's a
yeah,
great assistant. I think he's a great guy. But as far as all that pressure to be the head coach of a team, I'm not sure if that's for David Fizdale.
yeah. It's kind of like that. And when you really look at it, it wasn't like some people say that Fizz was a great coach and that. I don't really think when you really think about what proves totally that he's a great coach. He might be a good assistant coach, but he's not that.
Right.
He's not a great coach.
I think his press conference with Minnesota when he famously said, "Take that for data," and he slammed the table. I think
Or
that kind of made
Memphis,
him.
yeah.
I think that made him famous.
Yeah, that's like the only thing. And I remember that day when he had his first press conference with the Knicks. It was like he was saying all this stuff. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
I know. Luke, I've been seeing it since before you were born, bro.
I
That's why
know.
it's like, as much as I love Tibbs, I gotta see change, man. But I do love Tibbs. I love Tibbs. I'm a Van Gundy guy. Tibbs is a Van Gundy disciple. So Tibbs definitely gets me excited.
Also, like, what do you think the Knicks need to get in this year's offseason? Like, I know you've been really critical about Lamelo. I know you have.
No, I have nothing against Lamelo as a player. I think Lamelo's phenomenal.
No, yeah.
As someone who's been around the Knicks for
yeah.
15 years now, besides being a fan for almost 30, would I worry about LeVar Ball in New York being a distraction? Of course. Do I think it could work? Maybe. If they get Lamelo, I'm not gonna like cry about it. But is having LeVar Ball in New York a concern? Yeah, it's a concern. Anybody that's been around the Knicks for a long time knows that's a potential concern. If you don't think it's a concern, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
sorry.
Agreed.
And now if Lamelo is available, you get him. But what comes with it. And the Knicks are the last team, forget in basketball, the Knicks are the last team in sports that need outside distractions right now.
They do. You said everything, but at the same exact time, you want Lamelo Ball. You want the best player in that. Hopefully, that would be crazy with LeVar and James Dolan that.
It'd be something.
James Dolan needs to change his way a little.
So let me make this clear. I'm not against LaMelo Ball. I would just be concerned with all the things he brings. That's fair, especially in New York. It's not fucking Sacramento or Milwaukee. It's New York. We don't need LeVar Ball having press conferences in the Delta Lounge. We don't during the third quarter. We don't need that.
Yeah, I know. It brings lots of pressure, brings lots of media in, and it brings lots of torture, and especially around a young team.
I know what I'm talking about here. I've been around the block. You know what I'm talking about? I like to think I know what I'm talking about here.
Oh yeah, you do, and it's a young team. But I think LeVar's kind of changed, and he might have learned from his experience in LA.
And I don't hate the guy. I'm sure I don't hate the guy. I think he's probably actually a decent guy. I just it's the attention, and any other team maybe the Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks need that, but again, if LaMelo is there, you have to take him. 100%. Let me make that clear. I'm not taking LaMelo because of LeVar, but it's definitely something you have to look into.
Yeah, we need a point guard desperately.
Right, exactly.
We haven't had a point guard in probably your time as a Knicks fan.
Derek Harper
since Starks there, and
Derek Harper, Chris Childs, Charlie Ward, Howard Isley. Steph was supposed to be our point guard, but didn't really work out too well. Raymond Felton, Chris Duhon, the point guard list over the years has not been wonderful.
Yeah. And what should we do in the offseason this year? Should we bring in a free and D player? Should we do this? Should we do that? Yeah.
That's a good question because I don't know what's even going to happen in life with the coronavirus. Are we going to be back in the Garden in December? Probably not. I hope we are, but I guess we're not going to be. So we don't even know what's happening. We don't even know if there's going to be an NBA season next year. So it's really hard to answer those questions. And to be honest, it's hard to answer those questions with passion when we don't know what's going on. It's really weird, man. Like, could they have an NBA season starting? It's like opening night, I think, is supposed to be like December 1st. Is by next year going to be like baseball? Are you going to have 30 teams in a bubble? You know?
Yeah, like it's going on right now. Well, it's going on so far good right now. So
yeah, just,
hopefully we're in the Garden as soon as possible.
Listen, at this point, obviously I would love to be back at the Garden in November. But at this point, if you told me we're back in the Garden October 2021, even though that's a long time away, it's crazy to think I would sign up for that, though. I would.
Yeah, I would, even though it's a risk in that. Hopefully, we can at least get some watch parties in and do stuff like that again.
It's terrible. Oh, man, it's terrible, man. Like, it's just so. I mean, obviously, I follow the rules. I'm not a jerk, but like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's gotten better, of course. You know, the vibe in the air is a little better. Manhattan, you live in Manhattan, of course, but Manhattan's still pretty dead. At least things are open. At least you can grab food outside. Who knows what's going to happen in November when it gets cold?
Yeah,
you know.
Who knows?
So maybe they'll open up restaurants at half capacity. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. My name's Anthony, but I'm not Anthony Fauci, so I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what's gonna happen. They say restaurants aren't gonna open until next year, but maybe if things get better, they'll let restaurants open a little bit. Now, in Westchester, you can go out to eat inside.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the Hamptons.
Not in New York City.
Yeah, we've.
How's the bike riding? Do you have a bike?
I don't really bike. I play lots of ball and that. Yeah.
You have a court at the Hamptons?
Yeah.
You have a basketball? Really? Because I know I gotta come out there.
Yeah. We gotta bring the OBC there.
I know we can't use the Garden, so we might have to use your court in the Hamptons.
Yeah, don't worry, we'd follow all the rules and that. Yeah, we'd make sure everything is good.
We ain't worried about that.
Yeah, but we can. Yeah, so like what?
If I come out there though, I'm bringing my bike though. Okay, is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
Tell your parents to get you a bike. We got to make you the next Lance Armstrong.
So if everything stays right in that, what should we do in the off season? That
you gotta focus on building Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina. You never know who's going to be available via trade. The guy I would love to get via trade if possible, even though I wouldn't want to give up the farm, is Devin Booker. I absolutely love Devin Booker. I love that. I don't know what it would take to get him. I wouldn't want to part with RJ or Mitch, but the guy you need to get is you try to get is Devin Booker.
Yeah, I'd be willing to give up future picks for him, maybe.
Yeah,
potentially, because
you got to see what's available. But
like, if you put the talent together, are the picks even gonna mean anything? Like if you
you got to look at Devin Booker, but obviously Phoenix may not want to get rid of him, which they shouldn't. He's a phenomenal player, but we'll see. That'd be a guy you got to look into. Yeah,
if like Phoenix doesn't make it, but right now they're on fire in that.
They've been playing good. They've been playing good basketball.
Yeah, Booker had an amazing game the other day in that.
He did.
Yeah, hopefully if Phoenix missed the playoffs, then Booker says, "Oh, I'm gonna request a trade." If not, I've heard some rumblings about Zach LaVine, but there's something about
Zach is good, but like he's more for me a second and third guy. But I like Zach. I have nothing against Zach LaVine. I'm not.
Oh no,
he's not a number one guy. Devin Booker can be a number one guy. But you got to have other players. If you get Devin Booker, you want to pair him with R.J. Robinson. You want to put him R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. You want to play these guys together. You don't want to give up R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson for Devin Booker. It doesn't make sense. You want to bring Devin Booker in with R.J. Barrett, with Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, agreed. Like you can't just give up the whole team in that. You have to build with RJ and Mitch, and then bring on Booker and that.
Right.
But who knows? We might not be able to do that. So
that's why you got to try. Worst
case scenario.
We got to see what's up. We don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Man? We just
talking
gotta.
about Leon Rose, like, what are your thoughts on him and that? Like,
I mean, I like
I'm
Leon Rose.
still like, I'm
We
still in
don't
the
know.
air about it. Yeah,
Just like Phil Jackson in a sense, he's never done the job.
yeah.
I like Leon Rose. He's loved around the league. I've chatted with him a lot over the last since the Knicks signed Carmelo. I've got a chance to get to know Leon Rose a little bit. Always extremely nice. But again, man, that doesn't matter if you're nice. Can you do the job? A lot of people are nice. If you're nice and you suck, who cares?
Yeah,
So that said, Leon Rose, we don't know. He's a question mark, of course.
yeah,
You can't definitively say, oh yeah, Leon Rose, he's going to get the job done. Hopefully he
yeah.
does. We know he comes with tons of relationships, but
Hopefully.
we don't know, and that's not an insult. Like nobody can definitively say this is going to work.
Yeah, it's the
But
Knicks.
I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know.
If it works out, I'd definitely be the first.
And he's a good guy. And listen, he wears a T-shirt with a blazer. I mean, let's go. Let's get this done.
Yeah. If he does good, we'll definitely be happy, and if not,
Exactly.
we'll be the first people to point our fingers at him.
Exactly.
I'm kidding. No.
Exactly.
No, I don't want to put it that way. If he's watching this and that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. So also, what else with like what went wrong with Melo in that? I see you rocking the Melo. Like
yeah.
Melo
Melo's my guy, and I think just the roster again wasn't built correctly. In a perfect world, I wish Carmelo waited till free agency in 2011. With the lockout looming, we didn't know what was going to happen. Had Melo waited, would it have been better? Probably, because he would have played with Gallinari and Chandler and Feller and Mozgov. But that's old news now. I think, by 2012, 2013, they won 54 games with Tyson Chandler and
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Feller and the veterans. And then I think what really hurt Carmelo Anthony, those teams, was the Gallinari trade. That Gallinari trade, the Bargnani trade. I mean, that trade was awful. That trade was just one of the worst trades in New York Knicks history.
And that set back the franchise a lot.
Yeah, you gave away a draft pick. He did nothing. He made the roster worse. You put Melo back to the 3, even though Carmelo Anthony could be great at any position, but he excelled.
He was great at the 4 in 2012-13.
Right. He ended the end of the 2012 season when Mike Woodson first got the job after Mike D'Antoni left. So bringing in Bargnani, you put Melo back to the 3. The Knicks had something going with playing 2 point guards at the same time, with Shumpert at the 3, Melo at the 4, and Tyson Chandler at the 5. The Knicks had something going. They brought in Bargnani, put Melo back to the 3. Bargnani did absolutely nothing. So I thought the Bargnani trade, and the Knicks made a lot of bad moves in the Melo era, but I thought the Bargnani trade was absolutely the worst move. Steve Novak did more for the Knicks standing out there shooting 3 shots a game than Bargnani. Bargnani was horrible.
Oh yeah, he was.
And that team was a team filled with dogs, filled with tough guys. Bargnani, another cupcake.
Yeah, and also that 2012-13 team, it complemented Melo, Tyson Chandler, and
right.
Yeah, it complemented everyone, and
exactly.
They played good together. They meshed well together. They weren't like the Phil teams and this past year's team and that. Yeah,
exactly.
One thing about New York is we don't like cupcakes and that.
No, we don't like cupcakes. No, exactly.
Yeah, definitely not. What are your thoughts about like players coming to New York with like
we've gone down this road for 20 years now. I thought Kevin Durant was coming, but the only reason I originally thought he wasn't, but the only reason I thought Kevin Durant was coming was based upon reports and conversations I even had with people that were big in the industry that like they heard it was a done deal. So like people I talked to that I trusted, I believed. So the Kevin Durant thing was very weird, and I truly believe, and this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I know anything. I truly believe if Kevin Durant didn't get hurt, he's a Knick. And so is either Kyrie Irving or Kemba Walker. Because there's no pressure to be a Knick. If Kevin Durant only gets to the second round in 4 years, nobody's going to care. But as a Knick, there's pressure. There's pressure to make your shots in warm-ups when you're a Knick. So coming off an injury like that, the pressure to be a New York Knick would be immense. So I truly believe in my heart, in my opinion, that if Kevin Durant didn't get hurt, he's a Knick right now, and he probably has Kyrie Irving or Kemba Walker with him.
Oh yeah. I'm sure the injury changed all sorts of stuff, but
Of
who
course,
knows?
absolutely.
Maybe it was just a false narrative the whole time, and it was.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was a total false narrative, but someone threaded a false
For that
narrative
many people, here's the thing.
and
For that
told
many people
everyone. Yeah.
Right. For that many people to report it, big people in the industry, players, former players.
Woj, Stephen A.
Well, to be fair, Woj never reported it. Woj always said the Knicks had a chance. I think Stephen A. said it was happening. So,
Yeah.
There's probably some crazy backstory that we'll find out about, 20 years from now.
Yeah. Just recently, we heard about the Kemba Walker thing. He said it was a done deal that I was coming to the Knicks and that.
Right. Exactly.
Same with the LeBron thing. And
Yep.
that was like crazy.
I don't want to talk about that. That drove me crazy, man.
Like I've talked with tons of people about this. Who is like to blame the last 20 years in that?
I don't know. Everybody.
I mean, like, just crazy.
Bad luck, bad management, bad coaching, bad players, bad media sometimes. I mean, everything. I mean, literally everything that could go wrong the last 20 years has gone wrong. From the Ewing trade to what you got back. And then you flip Glenn Rice for Howard Isley and Shandon Anderson, which hyped up the cap. And then you brought in Antonio McDyess, and he gets injured on, the preseason game. You could have had a team in 2002. You could have drafted Amari. You could have had a team with Amari, Camby, Kurt Thomas, Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell. You probably would have won 50 games, and then maybe you never have this downfall. You could have, or they could have just kept Nene. They could have kept Nene. They could have had Nene, Camby, Sprewell, Houston, Kurt Thomas. That's a top 3 team in the East. Instead, they trade Camby, who ends up winning the Defensive Player of the Year 4 or 5 years later. They trade Camby for McDyess. McDyess hurts his knee in preseason, and literally everything has gone wrong. Everything goes wrong. It's actually rather impressive at times.
Yeah, and in recent years, like, they did a really bad job with some of the draft picks and that.
Oh yeah, draft picks. Like leaving guys available, guys like Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Then also you were 1 pick away from Steph Curry. That obviously wasn't the Knicks' fault. They wanted Steph Curry, and just literally everything that's gone wrong is all the cap space we've cleared so many times and coming up short. It's tough. It's tough.
What would you say is your favorite memory as a Knicks fan? Mine personally mine personally, just to say that, it was actually that 2012-13 season, which was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two.
The best in my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 that come to mind. My favorite memory is Game 6 of the '99 conference final.
No, Jay shot.
I wasn't at the game, but I was with a bunch of my friends watching it. I was 15 years old, and I went so crazy. And it was just like an 8 seed went to the finals, and that moment, the last 10 seconds as the clock was ticking down, feeling so much happiness and jubilation was absolutely incredible. Of course, Allen Houston shot, Larry Johnson shot. But then on a personal note, the first playoff game I ever went to was on May 12th, 1999 versus the Heat. I was up in section 416, and about 18 minutes before the game started, they put the whole Knicks team on the big screen on the Garden Vision, and they were playing New York by Rakim. And, there's no cell phones. There's no social media.
Yeah.
Everybody was out of their seat just cheering and chanting, "Let's go Knicks," 18 minutes before the game started. And then, seeing the Knicks take the court.
It's not like now where you have people sitting in their seats just paying money and sit with their cell phones. Right. I hate when that happens. I hate that.
Of course.
Like when you just watch the whole game, they just sit on their cell phones texting.
That moment, just it was my first playoff game. I had been to games before. My first playoff game was versus the Heat. I had chills up and down my body as they were taking the court for warm-ups. I get chills thinking about it, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, now these days it's like you have people texting and that, and
Of course.
like the whole game, posting pictures and that. It's so funny.
Of course.
I always watch the game. Like I check my phone during the game, but I
Yeah,
always
we all
watch
do.
the game. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, of course.
Of course. Yeah, it's 2020.
That's a fact.
So, what else?
Just another
What
day.
about?
I'm
Yeah.
about to go get a haircut, go for a bike ride,
Oh,
and go
yeah.
to the hospital. That's my day ahead. You know, gotta get the beard lightened up. You know.
Yeah, gotta get that
I'm
beard
sure.
right up.
I'm sure you'll have a beard soon.
Yeah, I'm starting to grow one. Yeah.
Maybe in a few years.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a beard guy or a clean face guy?
I'm a clean face guy.
Well, I know
I
right
know
now
you're.
you are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was a clean face when I was your age too.
Yeah. Now you're.
I think you should grow a big beard when you can.
Be the next
Like
Anthony Donahue. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely should. You definitely got to get the beard rocking. Got to get the beard rocking.
So also the people, where can they follow you in that?
They can follow me on my Twitter, my Instagram, same name, Anthony MSG.
MSG.
That's right. That's right.
And always hear, what is up?
That is right. And I should be getting back to my show. I can't. I'll be honest with you. Like I don't know when my show's gonna come back, just because I'm not mentally right to do it right now. I got too much going on in my personal life, so I don't mind doing these interviews. But for me to do my show, and anybody that's seen the work that I've done, the work that I put in, I can't do it at 50%. I gotta do it at 100. And right now, unfortunately, I'm not 100%. So I'll do all these interviews, but right now the show, you know, you can go to iTunes, check all the shows I've done. I've put in work. I've had Spike Lee
33rd and 7th, yeah.
33rd and 7th, TKB Radio. I'll be back eventually. Just right now is just not the time for me personally.
Yeah, I got you in that. When do you think you'll be back? Like, do you think eventually?
I don't know, man. Eventually, of course. Yeah. I can't tell you a date.
Yeah, I know.
I can't tell you a date. I would love to, but I can't.
I know. Bye.
It's over?
Yeah.
All right, Luke, yo, great job. You killing it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon, man.
Hopefully, see you soon. Hopefully, you can come on again. Yeah.
Anytime, man. Just hit me up. I got you.
Anytime.
All right,
Peace
brother.
out.
Peace.